it's Natalie. Sorry, I hadn't done a video in a while. I posted an old one. I have a bunch of videos I haven't posted in a while, but I posted one the other day. I hope you like it. But anyways, today I wanted to do a video about something that I keep running into, and that is making the mistake of contacting your mother-in-law when you're under stress, overly emotional. Maybe things in your life aren't going as planned, and because you're in a situation where you are under stress, what happens is you tend to reflect on the person that hurts you the most. And when you're under that amount of stress, what happens is you tend to go towards the person that hurts you the most and attack them. So although you might be no contact or maybe very low contact, or you maybe haven't even been able to tell this person how you feel, when you find yourself under that distress in your life with whatever situation is going on, you tend to attack the person that hurts you the most, and that is your mother-in-law or your father-in-law, unfortunately. And that is a huge mistake, because one thing that I have always taught all of y'all is that don't ever react. If you find yourself in a predicament where you are under an immense amount of pressure, stress, heartache, it could be a million things, okay? The worst thing you can do is react during that time of stress or heartache or anger or whatever it is, okay? What I want you to do is to sit with those feelings instead of going and reacting with those feelings. Because I know when you are in a situation where you're really stressed out, you have a lot of things going on, it's somebody that has really hurt you, you want to hurt someone because you're hurting. And so when you find yourself in that predicament, I want you to sit with yourself and calm yourself. I don't care if you have to sit on your hands and sit there and be angry and cry or whatever it is. The best thing I found, because I've been in your situation where I was under stress and there was things going on in my life that I wasn't happy about that maybe had nothing to do with the mother-in-law, is I deleted the number to the people that affected me in a negative way. You can block them, which is fine, but I found that even though I blocked mine, I unblocked them to attack them. Because in a situation where you're hurting, you want to go after the person that hurt you the most to get that hurt out of you. Because you think, because you're hurting, if you go and hurt someone else, it's going to make you feel better, but it's not. And so my best course of action was to completely delete the numbers of people that have hurt me. That way, I have no way of contacting these people while I'm in this situation of hurt or stress or whatever it is, the situation that you're in, the anger that you have. You could be angry at your husband. You could be angry at a friend. You could be angry at your grandma. It doesn't matter, right? But those people that you're angry with haven't hurt you as much as your very own mother-in-law. And so instead of going and trying to, hurt the other people that maybe that have hurt you, what you tend to do is find the person that hurt you the most and attack them. And so by deleting these people's numbers, it will help you reframe from being able to call these people and react to them and have that, conflict between that person. Because see, what we don't understand, well, maybe now we do because of these videos and other videos and understanding NPD, is that we understand that these people with NPD are waiting for us to be upset like this because they want you to attack them. By you going and attacking the person that hurt you the most, all that does is make you look like the perpetrator. Even though the reason why you attack this person is because they have hurt you the worst, and they have done things that have destroyed your marriage and destroyed your life and destroyed your self-esteem and everything else that follows with that. But when you go and do that, and you go and because you're overly emotional, and you go and attack the person that deserves to be attacked, what happens is they turn around and they play the victim. Then they call your husband, they call other family members, they smear you, they tell them what you've said and done in that moment of weakness that you have. And then people start looking at you as though you are the problem. And the goal of all of this is to have everyone wake up to the fact that you're not the problem, that the problem lies within the narcissistic person. And so if you want to wake other people up to what is going on in your situation, the best thing you can do is stay silent. So when you're finding yourself in a predicament of stress, of loneliness, of hurting, of depression, of anxiety, I want you to sit with that feeling. I want you to journal. I want you to write an email to yourself. Now, this email can be for the other person, but do not send it, okay? So you're going to write down how you feel. You're going to write down the hurtful things they've said and done, how they've destroyed your marriage, how they've destroyed your sex life, your intimacy with your partner. You're going to write everything down that makes you feel hurt, okay? But you're not going to send it. And then what I want you to do every time you find yourself back in this situation where you're under a lot of pressure and under a lot of stress is I want you to go back to your journal or back to that email and read it, okay? And I want you to read it 1,000,000 times until you realize that sending this email will only make you look like a fool. It's going to make you look like the perpetrator. And at first, when you write in your journal or you write the email, even though it's all true, you can see later on, once you calm down and you're not overly emotional anymore, you can see that by sending this email was only going to put more detriment in the relationship that you had, not only with the narc, but also with other family members and your husband, okay? And so it's really important to journal how you feel on a daily basis or a weekly basis. And then you will see that through your healing journey, your journaling will start looking different. It will start looking more healthy. And while you're going through these steps of healing, I want you to go back to the very first writings in your journal and read how you feel, and then just read throughout, all the times that you've journaled or however you do it on your computer or whatever, and then read the last page that you journaled and see where you are from the beginning to where you are now. And you will see through being able to express yourself, being able to write down the things that hurt you, you will see through your healing journey that you are becoming healthier as an individual. And then you also tend to realize that all those things that you first journaled about the hurt and the hate and everything, that over time you will see that the healing that has been taking place has made you a better person by not sending these things to these people. Because when you are sending hurtful, hateful things to people, even though they are true, it is not a reflection of your true character. And you will see through these journalings that your true character will evolve into the person that you truly are. Because when you're upset and you're highly emotional and overly emotional, what you're writing down in that journal is not who you are. That's not who you truly are. And you will see being able to express yourself and express how you feel about the situation helps, or actually teaches you to become a better person. It teaches you to not have hate and hurt in your heart. And it teaches you that those people that do hurt you don't matter. That those people that hurt you are horrible people. And you're not one of those horrible people. But by sending things that are hurtful and hateful, even if they were true, make you step out of character. It makes you feel as though you're not living your true self. Because I know personally, when I journaled, some of the things that I wrote in there were so hurtful and hateful and disgusting. Even though I felt like that at the time, I noticed throughout time that I started healing, and the wordings in my journals, in my journaling, became more positive. It became more loving. It became more kind. It became who I am as a person. Because when you find yourself hurting so bad and having hate in your heart, it changes you as a person. And the goal is not to change yourself as a person. You want to stay that loving, kind, considerate, compassionate person. See, the goal of a narcissist is to change you, to discredit your character. So when you first journal, they want you to be that person. They don't want you to be the person at the end of the journal when you finally come to realize that, you know what, these people don't matter. People that treat me like this don't deserve me in their life. You have to realize something. They don't deserve you. They don't deserve you. And you sure the hell don't deserve them. And so mistakes that happen that I have made myself is that when I'm overly emotional, the first person I call or I text or I email is the person that hurts me the most. And they're always nasty emails, and you know what happens after? I feel really stupid. I feel really stupid for even sending it or saying any of those words. Because I know that wasn't who I am. That's not who I am. That's not my character. And by sending things and saying things like that to the person that hurt you, all it does is make them think that you are that person when you're not. And then what they do is they take that information of you being ugly towards them, and they go and smear you to everyone and say, that is her. That right here, read this. Read what she wrote me. That's who she truly is. And then they get everyone believing that. And the goal is to not even convince other people, but to show, to prove to other people that your character is the sweet kind, caring, compassionate person that you truly are. And if you have to go around and convince people that that's who you are, then you're not being true to yourself. Being true to yourself is just being who you are and what your character is. And I know that when I went and expressed how I felt and how my mother-in-law treated me and how I was hurt by her, it caused me to create my own CPTSD. That's what it did. Because night after night, day after day, all I did was think about what I said and what I did and how I stepped out of character by contacting my narc. They want you to do that. And they'll do things to persuade you to call them and say nasty things. And one of the problems with recontacting your narc, or even if you're in low contact and expressing how you feel about how they've treated you, all that does is ruin the next month of your life, if not months, okay? Because you will constantly reread what you wrote them. You will constantly argue with yourself about the things that was said to your narcissist and trying to justify what you've said to them, even though you have the right to justify it. And you will find yourself constantly throughout the day thinking about it. Is this the type of life you want to live? Do you want to live your life for the narc? That's the question you have to ask yourself. So as bad as you might want to go and tell these people how you feel, I want you to listen to me. They don't care. They do not care how you feel. And this is why it is so important to get this through your head. No matter how sincere maybe the letter might be, no matter how kind and courteous the talk might be with the narcissist, they don't care how you feel. The worst thing you can do is let a narcissist know how you feel. That is the worst thing you can do because it gives them supply. It lets them know that they're doing a good job at destroying you. And so if you find yourself wanting to respond to a narc, please, I am begging you, sit with your thoughts, journal, do what you have to do, but do not contact that narc at all. Do not do it. Because you don't want that narcissist to know how you feel. Because once they start seeing that they're affecting you and affecting your life, they double down because they see that it's working. And what happens is then they start whispering more and more to not only other people in the family, but to your husband or to your partner, your significant other, which then in return, they try to convince them to leave you. See, the goal of all of this, the big goal that they have, this agenda they have, is to push you out of the family. And if you let them know that they're getting under your skin, then you are allowing them to win. One thing I wanted to read to you is this. You will continue to suffer if you have emotional reaction to everything that is said to you. True power is observing things with logic. True power is restraint and resistance. If words control you, that means everyone else can control you. Breathe and allow things to pass. First, you need to realize that you can't control what other person chooses to think and say, but you can control your emotional reaction to them. If you choose to give people power over you by continuously ruminating over what they said or did, you will continue to suffer, damaging your brain and mental health in the process. And if you have developed a pattern of overreacting and being too sensitive, you can get stuck in a toxic reaction cycle that will directly affect the quality of your mental life. You need to stop and ask yourself, what kind of person am I becoming? Are you developing a victim mentality? Do you want to keep suffering like this? Are you becoming overly involved and inwardly focused? As Buffett said, true power is resistant. The key is managing toxic situations. Most people are way too reactive and do not develop their self-restraint and self-regulation. Living this way makes them miserable. This type of restraint particularly applies to you throughout life. You may be thinking something about someone's motives, but it is not necessarily true. It is important to remember that assumptions are, by and large, the mother of all mess-ups. You can never truly know what another person is thinking, even if you know that person well. Restraint also means taking a step back and observing a situation logically. As Buffett says, it means reminding yourself that you have control. You aren't under someone else's power unless you allow it. Indeed, you cannot be offended unless you take offense. If you let your toxic emotions grow unchecked by consistently thinking about them and ruminating on your feelings, you'll feel worse because because the chaos will cause brain damage and dramatically affect your mental and physical well-being. Do you really want to give people that much power over your life? Remember, if words control you, then everyone can control you. Okay? So I just want to read that. Oh, one more thing. You need to be honest with yourself. Are you letting other people control you? Are you walking around hurt and upset? Do you continuously see yourself as a victim? Is everyone always attacking you? If you've answered yes to any of these questions, it might be time to shift your thinking. Now, look. When you are faced with a toxic person or situation, the best thing you can do is stop, allow some time to pass, and do five-step mental autopsy. This has really helped me learn how to react to toxic people or situation. 1, practice breathing in and out deeply to control your cortisol and adrenaline levels, which are good but can cause havoc when they flood the brain and body, and you can calm that. Recognize and name your reaction. For instance, using the email example above, the email that I was telling you, to describe how you feel out loud. I feel hurt, attacked, defensive, and ask yourself why. Observe your thinking and have a discussion with yourself. Writing your thoughts can also help you manage and examine your thoughts and emotions. Don't do this for too long, just a few moments. The purpose of this exercise is to help you name your emotions, such as, I feel hurt because ... Next, you want to intentionally and deliberately separate the toxic emotions behind your thoughts and words and logic of the situation apart. Visualize this. Imagine a scary, ugly, toxic tree with all the negative emotions and attitudes. Imagine ripping the emotions of this tree and seeing the well-defined branches with all the information of the situation hanging on the tree in a clear and clinical way, which will give you insight into what to do next. You are essentially imagining taking the threat of your emotions away from the thought tree. Now focus the content and words of this tree, which will help you see the actual problem and issues that was previously blocked by toxic emotions. When you try to see things through a veil of emotions, it is like trying to drive through a storm with no windscreen wipers. You can't see properly and end up in some serious trouble. So using emails or writing in a journal, when you mentally divorce yourself from immediate emotional reaction, you can you can perhaps see that the person who sent the email is frustrated because of so-and-so, and putting yourself in their shoes, you can choose to see if there is something you can learn from the situation in order to improve your communication with the person and so on. By doing this, you can transform potentially explosive situations into productive learning experiences. So what they're saying is that you're not sending this email, but you are learning from what you have wrote and how you can approach the situation in a different way, how you can see things in a different manner, instead of being angry all the time, instead of being hostile all the time. So you're going to be writing things in your journal, writing an email, but you're not sending the email. So that way you, like I was saying earlier, so you can actually read through that email, see where the negative language is, and try to find a way to calm that anger down and be more productive in your life, and quit letting anger and frustrations run your life. Okay, everyone? Let me see. Another one is, actually, I'm going to end it because this is kind of getting too long. I just read a couple things that was on here, but I think it's really important. My lighting is like all messed up, but anyways, I just think it's really important. Like I was saying, start journaling, start emailing. Don't send the email. You can send it to yourself, and start reading where those negative emotions are, and try to fix that by, I don't know, you can find something that brings you laughter, brings you joy, things like that. That way you're not sitting there stewing in this negative, you don't want to be living in a negative life. So even though these people have hurt you, even though you're frustrated, even though you're mad and angry, you don't want your life to be about that. So write down all these things, but then come up with a plan to start living your life where you're not angry, where you're not upset all the time, and start taking those vocabulary words and turning them into something more positive to assess your life in more, or live your life in a more positive, productive way, instead of letting these people destroy you. Peace, love, harmony. Hey, guys, do y'all want to start doing like either, because I know like a lot of people from around the world go on my YouTube. Either we could do Friday wine night or coffee for the people that are waking up in other countries. If y'all want to start doing that, I'd be more than happy. We can start it like around 6 o'clock, and we can just all just kind of chat and talk. And because now that I reached a certain amount of people, we can do live chats on my YouTube. Okay. Love you guys. Bye. I hope you like this. All right. Bye-bye.